So if you have 1, 3, 2, 5, 7, 5, 3, 4, and let's say 4, 8. Okay, so remember, it's always going to be in the form of x comma y. That's your ordered pair. And let's say for problem B, you have 2, 7, let's say 3, 4, 1, 8, let's say 2, 5, and 4, 1. Okay, so these are all your x values. Okay, so for this to be a function, every x value has to have exactly one y value. Okay, so is a function or no? Yep, actually it is a function, because you see here 1 only has a value of 3, 2 only has a value of 5, 7 only has a value of 5. Now y can have more than 1, but x can only have exactly 1. 3 only has 4, and 4 only has 8. So yes, it is a function, since every x value has exactly one y value. Okay. Now b, is that a function? Nope, b is not a function. And that's because since x equals 2 has a value of 7 and it has a value of 5. Of 2 and 5. Okay, it can only have 1. All right, so it would be the same thing if you had a drawing, let's say, if you have an example here. Okay, so you have your, let's say you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and A, B, C, D. So this is your input, and this is your output. Oh, sorry about that. Okay, so if you have this, it wouldn't be a function, because the input 3 has more than one output. So if this is your x and this is your y, then you know this wouldn't be considered a function. Since the input 3 has 2 output values. Okay, so you may see this done with, cities and population. You may see it done with cars and color of them. You can see it with a little bit of everything. But when it's set up like this, if anything in the input has more than one arrow coming out of it, then it's not a function. Okay, but like I said, with up here, the y value can be just fine. So if you had 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 all going to A, it would still be a function. But when it's 1 to 1, it can't be that way. Each x has to have one y, and each y has to have one x. So that's the difference between a regular function and a one-to-one function. A regular function, as long as the x values have just 1, everything's good. It's a function. But in a one-to-one, it has to go 1 to 1, literally 1 to 1 each way. Yep. One still writing. All right. Okay. The function is 1-to-1 if each x value, or your input, corresponds, straighten that up a little bit, to only one y value, your output, and each y value corresponds to one x value. Uh-oh. Okay, so let's say, for example, determine if each function is 1-to-1. Okay, so let's say for A, if we have 6, 2, 5, 4, -1, 0, and 7, 3. Say for B, if you have 3, 9, -4, 2, -3, 9, and 0, 0. And say for C, you have 1, 1, 2, 2, 10, 10, and -5, -5. And last but not least, if you have the graph of its ages, so we'll say x 18 to 24, 25 to 34, 35 to 44, 45 to 54, 55 to 64, and 65 plus. And this is our average text per day. Okay, so if we have 50, 20, 10, 6, and 2. Okay, so we know that goes to here, that goes here, that goes there. There. Okay, so what about A? Is that one 1-to-1? Yep, that one's 1-to-1. Because you notice the 6 only has one y value, the 5 only one y value, -1 and 7 only have the one y value. And we do the same thing for y. Y equals 2 only has one x value, 4 only has one x, 0 has one x, and 3 has one x. So that one's 1-to-1. Okay. What about B? Nope, it's not 1-to-1. Because 9 has a 3 and 9 has a -3. Now it's a function because all the x values have 1, but it's not 1-to-1. Y equals 9 has 2 x values. Okay. What about C? Yep, that one's 1 to 1. Okay. What about D? Nope, it's not 1 to 1. It's a function because everything in your input has exactly one output, but this one has 2 outputs. So this one's no. Output 2 has more than one input. All right. So any questions on this one? All right. So last but not least, just hold out for like another 3-4 minutes, and you'll be all done. I promise. Okay, and this is the vertical line test. Nope, not vertical. Wrong. That's for a function. Horizontal line test. Okay. So the horizontal line test is how you prove 1 to 1. So if every horizontal line intersects the graph of a function at most once, then the function is 1 to 1. Okay. Now, if you remember, the vertical line test just shows whether or not it's a function. Okay. So when it's horizontal, you're testing 1 to 1. When it's just vertical, you're testing to see if it's a function. All right, so let's say quick couple of examples. Okay. Now, if you were to do the vertical line test on this one, if you drew horizontal lines rather, you draw horizontal lines, but the minute you draw a horizontal line and it crosses in more than one spot, you know it failed the horizontal line test. So you know this is not 1 to 1. I usually like doing that in pen because for some reason pencil doesn't show up in the scan very well. So not 1 to 1. Okay. So for this one, if you drew horizontal lines over and over and over, it only crosses at one spot for each horizontal line. So this one would be 1 to 1. Oops, clean that up a little bit. Okay. Now for this one, you draw a horizontal line, crosses in more than one spot. So you know it's not 1 to 1. Okay, that's all for the day. I promise, I'm all done. All right, is there any questions on this one? All right, did everyone sign in? The sign-in sheet should be floating around here somewhere. somewhere. See both of those. Might as well stop recording.